Alright, so this is our EDA tutorial 3, and what we're gonna do is first we will lay out a single transistor like this, NMOS transistor. We're gonna do LVS to confirm the layout is exactly the same as the schematic. Alright, and after that we're gonna lay out a differential pair using common-centroid layout like that. Basically we're gonna divide each transistor into 4 multipliers with 4 fingers. So this is gonna be Q1, half of Q1, half of Q1. Here's half of Q2, half of Q2. Alright, so let me switch to Cadence. Go to my project folder, class demo, run Virtuoso. And then I'm gonna do file, new. Oh, I have to create a new library for today's tutorial. I'm gonna name it as EDA3. Click OK, and attach to an existing technology library, AMI06. Okay, so here we go, we have our library. I'm gonna do file, new, cell view. To create first thing for the single transistor, I'm gonna create the schematic single transistor. Okay, click OK, then click yes to check out the license. Then I'm gonna use bind key I to place instance. Go to NCSU analog parts, select N transistors, NMOS 4. Okay, and let's look at the requirements of the EDA tutorial. So basically we need a transistor with the size W equals to 4.2 micrometer and length as 1.2 micrometer. Alright, so go to my schematic, change the width to 4.2 micrometer and the length to 1.2 micrometer. Alright, after that place the transistor on the schematic. Alright, so here is the transistor, and now I'm gonna place 4 pins for this transistor. We're gonna have 4 pins. Okay, so I'm gonna first place the wires and then hit the bind key P, which stands for add pin. Okay, I'm gonna have pin for the source, for the gate, for the drain, and for the body. Okay, and just assume that all of them are input-output pins. Okay, so now move to the schematic. Place the source here, gate there, drain over there, and for body, I'm gonna flip it sideways, right? So click this sideways, and so that the label shows on the right hand side. Don't overlap with the wire, make it clearer to identify. Okay, after that I'm gonna save this schematic. Very simple, right? And width is 4.2, length is 1.2. After that, close the schematic. I'm gonna create a new cell view with the same name, but I'm gonna have the type as layout. So here is the drop-down list. I can choose layout, right? Then click OK. Then click yes to check out the license. Then I get this window for the layout. All right, and let's look at this window. This window is similar, pretty similar to what we have for schematic, but the very useful tool that is different from schematic is shown on the left side. So here we have different layers for analog IC layout. For example, we have, let's guess, I have NWELL. What does this represent? NWELL, right? I have active layer, I have metal 1, metal 2, metal 3. So in 0.5 micrometer process, we have 3 layers of metals, right? We also have polysilicon, which should be used for our gate, right? And the purpose of those lasers are for DRW, drawing. So they can be used to draw the structure for my design. And on the bottom side, we also have net. But for layout, for conventional analog IC layout, we're gonna use DRW, drawing, for most of the time, okay? So I'm gonna get started. And the nice thing is, today for modern process, not even modern process, or the conventional process, they have the so-called parasitic cell, which means I don't have to really draw each layer separately. I can be lazy enough. Just hit the button I, add create instance, okay? Then I'm gonna click this browse the library. Then I'm gonna browse the library, this time for NCSU underscore TechLab underscore AMI06. This is the process we are using, right? Let's see what do we have. We have M1 to N, M1 to P, those are contacts. M1 to poly. So let's guess, what does M1 to poly mean? Polysilicon, great. So metal 1 to polysilicon contact, right? And what I really want to use is, here we go, NMOS, okay? I'm gonna place an NMOS there. And I can select the view of layout, that's the only option. And here I'm gonna edit the property in the other window. So the width is 4.2 micrometer and the length is 1.2 micrometer, right? After that, go back to the layout. I'm gonna place this transistor right in the center of the layout view, okay? And you see an empty box. That is because we are looking at symbol view. If you want to switch to the true layout view, hold the Shift key, then press F, Shift F. Then you see the layout, right? Very nicely, already automatically placed. We have, this could be the blue laser. Actually, if you look at the left list, the blue laser represents metal 1, right? So this is metal 1 on top of active region. So this is for source, and that is for drain, okay? But the true active region is here, actually under the gate, all right? That is the channel. And the red color represents poly, so this is polysilicon. Okay, do you have any question? And I want to make sure if I'm looking at the right size, then I can press button K to place a ruler. Okay, I'm gonna place this ruler from the bottom to the top. Okay, and it tells me the width is indeed 4.2 micrometer, right? So this is not part of the channel. This already extends from the active region, okay? Only from here to there represents the true width of the transistor, okay? This end only contains polysilicon. There is no active doping for the channel, okay? And if I want to confirm the length, I'm going to place another ruler here. Oh, sorry. I'm going to place another ruler. Let me do on the top, okay? Press the button K, then extend the ruler, and it tells us it's right 1.2 micrometer, okay? And if I want to remove the ruler is K, so if I want to remove the ruler, hold Shift key, Shift K, then the ruler will be gone, okay? And now what I have to do is to, maybe if I want to extend those contacts to a metal routing, right? So I'm gonna just do this, go to metal 1, here, select metal 1, and I'm gonna use the button P, which stands for create path, okay? I'm gonna create a metal path from here to there. But this is very arbitrary thing. Like I can create a path in this direction, that direction doesn't matter, okay? Depends on how I route the signal to other components. But here I'm just trying to demonstrate the basic idea, okay? And for the drawing, I'm gonna create a path. And for the gate, I'm gonna create a path, extend it a little bit, right? So because the gate is built by polysilicon, I have to select the polysilicon layer, press button P, create a path, okay? And another thing is you can change the width of the path. So for example, if I switch to the other window, I can change the width to be the same as the gate length, okay? Set it as 1.2, and now if I go back to the layout view, as you can see, it's wider, right? Okay, now hit enter, I extended the path, okay? Now I'm gonna add a contact because eventually for the gate, I need to use metal to route the signal, okay? So I go to create, on the top side, create a via. And here, this drop-down list, via definition, I'm gonna select, I need a contact from metal to polysilicon. Okay, does this make sense? So now you see a nice contact like that. And let's say if I want to have more contacts to make the area a little larger, and sometimes maybe if I doubt one contact when they fabricate it, they make any error, fail this contact, then my option is I can actually have two contacts, right? You can also change the way how you make the array of contact. You may have two columns or two rows, okay? Very convenient. I'm gonna place the contact here, right here. Okay, and so now we have source, drain, gate for the NMOS. What else do we need? We need the body connection, right? And body, again, is a contact from p-type substrate to metal layer. So I go to create, via again, and here I'm gonna select via definition. I need a contact from metal to p-type substrate. Does this make sense? Okay, and let's say if I need maybe 3 rows, okay? I'm gonna place this contact right there. All right, so pretty much that's the layout for the transistor, okay? Save the layout. Then the next thing is I can do DRC, design rule check, because every foundry has certain limitation. They can't make, for example, two metals too close to each other, okay? So I'm gonna do verify. This is very important. Click DRC and click OK. After that, I see nothing changed, and this is a good news because basically, if you look at, let's see, where is my CIW window, okay? Window. Okay, here we go. If you look at the CIW window, it tells us summary of rule violation for this design. Total error found 0. There's no 0. Okay, let me show another example. If I move this contact, M is the bind key for move. If I move this contact to that location, let's see what's gonna happen. Okay, go to verify DRC. Click OK, then we have some highlighted region, right? And if I check out the CIW window, the first window that pops out when you load Cadence, if you go to this window, it tells us 7 total errors found, okay? And basically, the violation is metal spacing should be larger than 0.9 micrometer, which means this here we have metal 1 in this contact, right? And here we have metal 1 for source and drain contact. So from here to there, the distance should be larger than 0.9 micrometer. All right? Does this make sense? Okay. And likewise, you actually have other errors, or because of maybe sometimes the spacing is too small. A lot of times DRC error is actually because spacing of the same material are too close, okay? If they are too close, it's impossible for the foundry to make this. So I'm gonna make this a little bit further away, all right? And then save it, go to verify DRC, and now DRC area is cleared again, right? So after DRC, what I have to do is I know there is no design rule violation. At least the foundry is gonna be able to fabricate this. That's the good news. But the bad news is we still don't know if the layout is exactly the same as the schematic, right? So I need to do LVS, layout versus schematic. Before I do LVS, the first thing I really have to do is I have to define the terminals, because in schematic we have 4 terminals already defined, right? So I'm gonna go to create again, create pin. And here I can select for the pin will be input output type, and I'm gonna type the name of the pin. We have source, we have drain, we have gate, we have body, right? And a very useful thing is you have to check this box, create a label for the pin. Otherwise, I can't see which one is which. Okay, so I'm gonna create a label for the pin. And also for the pin, I have to make sure it corresponds to the true layer of instance. For example, if I need the pin here for the source, I have to place the pin on metal 1, right? So here on this list, I have to select metal 1, okay? With that, I'm pretty much ready to make the pin. So move to the layout, right click, draw this small box, okay? And after that, S automatically pops out. This is the label, okay? I'm gonna place S here, all right? So when I typed the name of the pin, I typed SD, right? So next should be the drain. I'm gonna move to this side, place our drain here. Okay, and after that, I defined gate. So I'm gonna place gate over there, and I'm gonna place our body right there. Okay, so now we have a complete transistor. Does this make sense? Okay, and before we run LVS, please make sure in your LVS you go to NCSU, modify LVS rules, and make sure this box is checked. We have to compare the FET parameters, which means we not only compare the connection, the definition of pin, but we also compare the size of transistors. Okay, click OK. After that, go to verify. But before we do LVS, we still have to extract a view for LVS. So click extract, click OK. So what happens is after we have done this extraction, then let me go to CIW, open up my library manager. From library manager, as we can see, under single transistor cell, I have now 3 views. Schematic view was created by myself, right? Layout view drawn by myself. Extracted view, this guy is created after extraction. Double click this guy, what we can see is Shift F, it extracts what the layout represents, and basically it's a transistor, right? Okay, so I'm gonna close this window, I'm gonna close that, go back to our layout, now go to verify LVS. Okay, so we did DRC, then we did extract, and then we do LVS, all right? And on LVS, what I have to do is I have to select the schematic and the extracted view and let the LVS engine to compare them, make sure they are one-to-one, they have one-to-one correspondence, okay? So go to browse, browse to EDA3 transistor schematic, okay? Click close, all right? And on the other side, for extracted view, go to browse, EDA3, select extracted view, click close. So now on the left side for schematic, we have schematic view of the single transistor. Right-hand side, we have extracted view for the single transistor. Okay, now click Run. All right, and it's running on the background. If you want to see, to make sure it's running, then go to your CIW small window, and on the CIW window, it tells you the progress of LVS check. Okay, and now actually the LVS check is finished because this is such a small circuit. It tells us the LVS job has completed the net list match. Okay, so this is a very nice result. All right, and I can also check the output. Click Output, and here it lists all the things we have on the schematic and on the layout, right? On schematic, we have one NMOS, we have 4 nets, 4 terminals, and so does the layout, all right? And we have a one-to-one correspondence in the summary, and the most important thing is the net list match, okay? So in the future, if you have to do a homework or project, you have to submit your result and show that the net list match, okay? All right. So with that, we have actually finished the first layout, all right? But what I want to demonstrate is, what if I have some error between layout and schematic? What if they don't correspond to each other, all right? So what I can do is now, let's say if I remove the body contact, the body pin. I didn't remove the body contact, I simply removed the pin for the body. And maybe I can also remove the pin for the drain, okay? I only have 2 pins in this layout view, all right? And then I'm gonna do verify DRC, click OK. DRC gives me no trouble because the foundry can fabricate this definitely, right? But if I extract this layout and then run LVS, run LVS, run, okay. And after some moment, it tells me LVS job has completed, but the net list failed to match. Okay, this means I failed to create the same layout for our schematic. And now you have to check out, you have to debug what's happening. Okay, this happens a lot for larger analog circuits. Then it tells us, for example, on the top side, sorry, schematic has 4 terminals, but layout only has 2 terminals, right? And on the bottom side, it actually gives you detailed information which terminals do not match between schematic and layout. For example, terminal B in the schematic is not shown up in the layout, right? So this is something that helps us to debug the problem, all right? So with that, let me add the pins back, okay? So create pin, create pin should be create pin. I'm gonna add my drain and body back, okay? Go to layout. Oops, sorry. Draw our drain and add our body. Okay, so this is the right layout for the single transistor, all right? Okay, so next we want to create a schematic for the differential pair. And for this differential pair, we're gonna have 4 multipliers, which means we have 4 fingers, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 fingers for transistor on the left, and 4 multipliers, okay, for transistor on the right-hand side. So we have 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so because of that, this is a very standard common-centroid layout. the center of transistor 1 is here at the center of the screen, and center for transistor 2 is also here at the center. Okay, and here shows the parameter for the transistors. Basically, each finger will have 6 micrometer of width, and we have 4 in total. So the total width of the transistor should be 4 times 6, which is 24 micrometer. Okay, and the length is 1.2 micrometer. So does the transistor on the right hand side. All right. Okay, so I'm gonna switch back, go back to our Cadence, open up my library manager, EDA tutorial 3, and now I have to create a new cell, schematic cell. Okay, schematic, and this time I'm gonna call it common-centroid layout. All right, common-centroid, and on schematic, hit button I to add instance. Okay, and we're gonna add this MOS4. Okay, and for this MOS4, I'm gonna have a width, unit width of 6 micrometer. Okay, I'm gonna have 4 multipliers. Basically 4 in parallel to form a total width of 24 micrometer, right? And the length will be 1.2 micrometer. So I'm gonna place the transistor over there, and then place another transistor on the right hand side. And again, I have to flip the view sideways, okay, to make it look nice. All right, like this. I'm gonna make the basic connections. Here is our source, and here is the connection for the body, right? And we have input, then we have output. This is a very classic differential pair, right? Next, I'm gonna add the pins. So for the pins, I'm gonna have input pin, in plus, in minus. I'm gonna have source, we're gonna have body, we're gonna have D0 and D1, which is drain for this transistor and drain for that transistor, right? We're gonna use input-output pin. So pretty much I think that's it. Place the first pin in plus over there. For in minus, I'm gonna flip it sideways, and we have source. We also have body to be connected to that wire. I'm gonna add a connection very soon. Okay, D0 and D1. All right, add a wire for the connection of body. All right, so this is our schematic, right? Then check and save. After that, close this schematic. Definitely you can do simulation on the schematic, but here our purpose is to show how to make the layout, right? So go to File, New, Cell View. For the type, we will use Layout. Okay, common-centroid, click OK. All right, so this is a layout view. I will make the window a little larger. All right, so now if we look at the layout, what we want to do is we need 2 parts. Basically, the top part we have 4 multipliers, right? And bottom part we have another 4 multipliers. And each part we have half of N0 transistor, we have another half for N1 transistor. Okay, so on schematic, I will hit the button I to add instance, and the instance should be NMOS. And for this NMOS, for the upper part, I have 4 multiplier. Okay, and each multiplier should have 6 micrometer, and the length should be 1.2 micrometer. Right. After that, I place this on my schematic. Okay, and Shift F to show the true layout. And normally I want to use M to move this instance right to the center so that the white line on the layout shows the symmetric relationship. Okay, it just make my life easier, but you don't really need to do have to do that. Depends on your preference. Okay, so now let's say this and that is half of n0. What I need to do is go to polysilicon, add a path. Okay, this path I'm gonna just use 1.2 micrometer, and from here I will use this polysilicon to make a connection like this, so that we short the gates of those two fingers. Does this make sense? Okay, now I'm gonna add a contact. So create via, I'm gonna add a contact from polysilicon to metal 1, right? And have 2 columns. I will place this contact right in the, maybe in the middle, like this, okay? So that I can route the signal, okay? Does this make sense? And in the future, I think a good practice is whenever you have done a little bit of layout, you go to verify DRC. DRC is pretty fast to make sure I am okay, I didn't violate any rule, because there will be a minimum space between here and there, between the metals, right? So seems like now the rule is happy with me, so I am going to copy what I added from here to there for the other transistor. Does this make sense? Okay, and if I want to zoom out, I can do Shift Z to zoom out. I will move this a little bit upper to the top side, like that. Okay, and I will copy this. Actually, I will copy this to the bottom side to make the other half of the layout. Okay, just copy it like that, move it to the bottom side. Does this make sense? But I want to flip it, right? So I flip it upside down, very convenient, place it on the schematic. Okay, so now I have something like this. All right. And if I want to make it perfectly symmetric, I should even consider moving this a little bit, moving this a little bit upper, because I can use the white dots to see where we are for the edges, right? The top side, the edge is right between those 2 white dots. So here I can also move this a little bit. Zoom in, maybe move it upper by 1 grid size, okay? All right, after that, what I want to do is, I know this is half of N0, that is half of N0. So I'm gonna connect this with that, okay, using metal 1. So select metal 1 layer and place a path. Place a path like this. Okay, and I want to make everything symmetric, so I'm gonna use S stretch to move the components a little bit. So here is what I can do, use stretch to align the edge of this, oops, sorry, okay, align it to the contact. Okay, does this make sense? Okay, and next I have to connect this with that. Can I use M1, metal 1 to do this? Connect this contact with that contact. Is that okay using metal 1? I guess it's difficult because I make a connection from here to there. Definitely they will short with the first connection, right? So I need to use another layer of metal, create via. This time I'm gonna add a contact from metal 1 to metal 2, having 2 columns, overlap them on the party to metal 1 contact. Okay, so now I have metal 2 here. I extend the gate signal all the way to metal 2, right? I'm gonna select a layer of metal 2, add a path. Okay, so all the geometric, like from the top view, you see this path overlap with that path. They are not shorted because they are using different layer of metal. Does this make sense? Okay, all right, great. So now verify DRC design rule check. I'm lucky I don't have any error, so that's a good sign. And next, I have to take care of. Yes.
Just a small note, like in AutoCAD, where you can place any objects or any blocks at specific coordinates by entering the coordinate numbers. Do we have such a provision over here in the layout where the symmetry can be precisely met?
Yeah, you can. There, definitely you can enter the coordinate, but normally, like for this kind of analog circuit, we really don't do it because you want to make sure everything is symmetric. The best way is to copy it. And actually, when you copy it, for example, if you copy the top component to the bottom, let's say I use C to copy it, you can also try to enter the coordinate to make sure everything is symmetric. Okay, you can even choose a reference point to mirror the copy. All right, so there's very nice tools for you to make a symmetric, balanced layout. All right. So next we have to take care of, I think from my point of view, the easiest way is, sorry, I want to open this. Okay, the easiest way is I can take care of the source because the source, all the source should be shorted. All right, and what I say is from here, if all right, let's still use the layout. If this is the source, then that's gonna be the drain. This is the source. Okay, and this is drain. That is source. Does this make sense? So source, gate, drain, gate, source, gate, drain, gate, source. So basically, I should connect this with that, with that. So does the bottom side, right? This, that should be shorted. And also, this source has to be connected with that source. Okay, so let's see if we can do this. I'm gonna use metal 1 to make the basic connection. All right, metal 1, place a path from here to there. All right, now this source is shorted with that source. Does this make sense? Let me see if I can do this, do DRC. Okay, DRC, no problem. So that's nice. I'm gonna copy this to that side. Okay, to make sure this source is connected with that. Okay, does this make sense? Can I also copy this path to here to short the source of this guy with the source of that guy? Can I do this? No. Yeah. Thank you. So we can do this because if we do that, we're gonna short our source with the gates, right? Okay, great. So I'm gonna get around using another way. On the bottom side, so there's a lot of flexibility you can design your layout. I'm gonna add via. I'm gonna add M1 to M2 via. Okay, on the bottom side. So I'll have a via here, and I'll move the via a little bit to make it nice. Okay, I will also copy the via. To here and copy it to there. Okay, and after that I will switch to metal 2. I will add a path like this. Okay, so after that what's happening is this source, it's extended to metal 2 in this part. That source is connected to metal 2, right? And this source is now connected to metal 2. And I have metal 2 signal path to short all the 3 sources together. Does this make sense? Okay, great. So let's see if I violated any DR design rule. And I was lucky. So the source here is taken care of. And on the top side, what I will do is I will still use metal 1, but I am gonna add a connection like that, add a path. Okay, and for the source in the middle, I'm gonna add a path. Okay, so now those 3 sources are connected. Does this make sense? Okay, save it and do another DRC. And there's no complaint, that's nice. So now all the sources are shorted together. Do you agree with me? We have 3 sources, 1, 2, 3, we have 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They are all shorted. Okay, we have taken care of the source. Let's see what else. We have taken care of the drain. Okay, drain, probably the most difficult thing. Okay, so here for those 2 fingers, the drain is right there. Does this make sense? Yes.
Why did we use, like, in the bottom? We can't use the metal 1.
You are right. So the question is, why on the bottom we are using metal 2 to make a connection? Okay, why don't I follow the same thing to use metal 1 on the top? So actually I can do that. The only thing is if I do that, I'm gonna use a little bit more chip space area. Okay, and in this design, I know that I will no longer use metal 2 in this area. That is why I choose metal 2 to save some area.
The same thing can we do at the top?
Yeah, the same thing you can do it on the top side, but you may have some trouble connecting the drains. You don't have enough space. Okay, so let's see what we can do for the drain. But obviously, this may not be the best design. You can design your own design. You can make it even more compact, nicer. Okay, this is what I just found out. All right, so I'm gonna create via. Again, metal 1 to metal 2. Okay, this time I'm gonna place the via here for the drain of the first half of N1. Okay, oops. So I have a via added here. I'm gonna add another via over there for the other part of the drain. Does this make sense? Okay, and I'm gonna add metal 1 to metal 2 via over there, and metal 1 to metal 2 via over there. Okay, and now I have to do some routing. Okay, so basically this is half of N1 for the drain. That is half of N1 for the drain, right? If I want to get a clearer view, another trick is I can select metal 2 if I only care about metal 2. Okay, I select metal 2. Here I can select this, and now the only thing displayed is metal 2. Okay, all right. And this pretty much non-visible except for metal 2. And if you want to return to the full view, select this all visible. All right. And for metal 2, I'm gonna add a route from here, perhaps goes down this way, then right there, connect it with the other part of D2. Okay, let's say if I'm lucky this time, verify DRC. I'm still lucky. What a surprise. All right, and now I want to connect this with that. Does this make sense? Okay, common-centroid layout. So I'm gonna place metal 2 this way, and then to there. Okay. And if I want to spend more time, I can even fine-tune the layout to minimize the length of the trace a little bit. Right? Does this make sense? Okay. So now I think most of the things are taken care of. DRC, and there's no error. That's a good thing. Okay. So we now have taken care of the gates. We have taken care of the source. We have taken care of the drain. What else? Body. Thank you. So for the body, I have to create via from metal 1 to p-type substrate. Okay. And sometimes in analog design, especially in RF design, you do indeed you can place one via here to represent the contact between substrate and metal. Okay, that's for the body contact. But one contact is definitely not enough for analog design, especially for radio frequency. So you can actually add a lot of vias to form a guard ring. Okay, so I'm gonna do this. Place more vias. Let's see. Maybe I'll do it pretty aggressively. Add this guard ring here, and add another guard ring. Oops. Via. Add another guard ring on the top side. Okay. And add another guard ring on the bottom side. All right. So now if I run DRC, definitely we're gonna get error because this section is badly taken care of. Normally from this black box to another black box, they have a minimum space requirement. That's a true area for the via, okay? But now this guy is too close to that guy. All right, does this make sense? Okay, so I'll try, can I move this down a little bit? And I wanna align them very well, just like this. If I align the edge, then the contact, the via will actually overlap, right? Okay, so do you think if I will get any error here? Actually, I guess yes, because now if you look at metal 1, if we only look at metal 1, this guy is too close to that guy. All right, so if you don't believe me, then we can do verify DRC. Then we have error here, metal 1 is too close, and error here for this contact, right? So I'm gonna shift it up a little bit. On the bottom side, I think we still have enough space. So I'm gonna shift it like that. And on the top side, I'm gonna shift it upper to separate the metals. Okay. Now try if we still have problem with DRC. All right, nice. So DRC, no problem. If I want to enclose everything, then I can also copy this body contact to the left side. Okay, so this is a very good protection. Basically, if you make a body contact, the area, P substrate area, is nicely grounded. Okay, you can shield out noise and coupling. Okay, so I guess pretty much that's it. All right. So after we have done this, what's gonna be next before we can run LVS? Pins, right? We have to define the pins. So check out the schematic. We have pin in plus, in minus, source, body, D0, D1. All right. So I'm gonna add a pin for in plus, in minus, source, body, D0, and D1. All are input-output pins. For every pin, I'm going to create a label so that I can easily identify it, right? So in plus, I guess in plus refers to this place. So I will place our in plus pin right there. Okay, and I will place our in minus pin over there, and I will place our source pin. Source is right there. Okay, I will place the pin for body. Here we have the body, right? Body over there. And I will place D0. And D0 is actually routed using metal 2, so I will switch to metal 2 for D0. D0. And I will place D1 on the other side. Okay, and do we see any problem here? I think the problem is the labels are gone, not shown. And the trick is here. In option, under option, display, you have to check display the pin names. Okay, check this, display the pin names. Okay, so now the pin names are returned again. After that, now we can do extraction, right? Extract the view. Okay, and after that, as we can see, for common-centroid, we have extracted view. If I double click this, you're gonna see now the circuits, the software actually extracted more transistors. Basically, top side we have 4, bottom side we have 4. Okay, but LVS will automatically combine them when they check the layout versus schematic. Okay, I want to close this window. I want to go back to layout window, go to verify LVS. And another thing we have to be careful is last time when we designed single transistor, the cell name is actually kept here, still single transistor. So if you now run LVS, it's not really checking the layout and schematic for common-centroid layout. So we have to update it, go to browse, okay, and select common-centroid schematic, click close. And in the future, if we are familiar with this enough, then you can simply type the name of cells you want to compare, okay? After that, click run. We can check out our CIW window. So here shows the progress of LVS. And then when it's finished, actually you're gonna have a small window popped out. And we are pretty lucky. It says that LVS job has completed and the net list match, which is nice, okay? And you can also check out the output. So from output, as we can see, in the schematic, we have 2 NMOS, right? And in the layout, the first extraction actually give us 8 NMOS. But the software is smart enough, they will combine parallel MOSFETs. And eventually, they found out your layout has 1-to-1 correspondence, exact correspondence between layout and schematic, all right? And the bottom side shows how the net list match, okay, the details, all right? Layout versus schematic. And the important information is here, the net list match, all right? So with that, I think this is pretty much for EDA tutorial 3. Do we have any question? Let me stop the screen recording first.